Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh, yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Not good evening. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing well. It says that my signal might be a little bit weak. I'm going to see if that changes up here in just a few moments. I don't think I'm... Oh, I am syncing something. So let's just wait. So that should fix up here in just one moment. I want to be sure that that's signal strong because I'm about to be showing the video from where I went to Neutral Zone Studios, which is in Kingsland, Georgia, which was one of my favorite places to have been. I mean, I thought that it was fantastic. You know, I like doing, well, it combined several different things for me. Because, of course, Star Trek. I really enjoy Star Trek. I did watch a lot of the original series, especially as a kid. My mother, we played Star Trek a lot as kids. My mother had this. Anybody have this? This is the Star Trek, the complete blueprints for the Starship Enterprise, the original Starship Enterprise. I remember my mom having these, and this is not the original copy that my mother had. I'm not sure what happened to her copy, but after going to Neutral Zone Studios, I had to find a copy of the blueprints on eBay. So I got this on eBay. Complete set of 12 authentic blueprints of the Starship Enterprise. I don't have a date on this, but you know, this was back in the day. Date of publication. And I remember putting all of these out on the floor and looking over every bit of what the plans of the Starship Enterprise was. And then there it was, stepping onto that set and it becoming real. Now it's a set. It's not like a duplicate of the Starship Enterprise, because what it's a duplicate of is the set that was on the Desilu production stage. So it was actually the set, a replica of the actual set, because they designed it to have shows shot in, because Star Trek Continues was shot there. So, and I also love the filmmaking side of things. That's so much fun. I like making things like that. So to be on the Enterprise, and also where, it was actually a production set. Wow. Really neat. Really neat. Let's see what's going on. Let's see who's here in the comments here. We got James and Zero the Blade. Good morning. Good morning, Brent. I'm working on some bugs. We didn't get to play yesterday. Nobody, we didn't have, I guess it was too soon for people to come in. Robert is signed up. I've got a new game on tonight. If anybody wants to play tonight at 6 o'clock, come on in. So the news, there are bugs that are coming up here as far as our procedure here. And this is another one of those things that start before you're ready. Because once I've started, okay, no, wait a minute. What do I need? What do I need to do? Because I realized I need some way. We're probably going to have to go to a dedicated Discord server for this to work. I don't want to start all that right now, but in the medium term or even short run, if this is going to keep going, we're probably going to need a dedicated Discord server, because I realized, like, I emailed everybody the schedule out for yesterday, but ideally what I guess I need to do is like schedule an entire week out. I need to start doing that and then sending out an email for the whole week. But if you're on a dedicated Discord server for the gaming hall, then if somebody wants to schedule something, for the next day or after the schedule has come out, they need to be able to do that, because people need to be able to independently start scheduling games as well. If you want to, I don't have to be there. I don't have to lead it. We got people who are interested in playing Zargon. Some people are in different time zones and things like that. We'll be able to say, hey, I just want a game here. And then people need I'm going to schedule it right here, or I can be here at this time. And then other people need to come in. Good morning, Sable. Good morning, Sable and PH Arbex. Yes, it is a really cool collectible item. Yes, I have that too. I think Megan's got that. I had the Star Trek The Next Generation technical manual, and then I also have this one right here that's sitting close by. I have the Starfleet. This is the original series technical manual, and this one is always really good. I referred to both of them quite a bit as a kid. Both of them were important books. And this one is also the great reference. I mean, we're on the original series set, so that was a great reference. Let's see. The old Paramount blueprints, Lynn says, including the D7 Cruiser. Oh, that's cool. I don't have that one. I've heard that. Sable Phoenix says, it's always a sad moment when you realize the blueprints or floor plans of your favorite science fiction ships don't match the actual model, though, like the Millennium Falcon internal set. One of the things like that's discussed with the original Enterprise is the orientation of the bridge. Let's see. Oh, my God. My desk is absolutely such a mess. Well, I tell you what, we'll talk about that after the show. After the video, we'll talk about that. I'll just star this right here because, but whatever. I didn't, but that would have been fun. Did I get to throw a styrofoam boulder to fight a Gorn? I remember watching that episode as a kid and going, "Oh my God, this is serious." I remember thinking that was serious. Okay, well, we also need more people. So one of the reasons I wanted to get started going on early is because right now we have 23 people who are interested to sign up right now. Right now we have 23 people signed up, which I know was low which I know was low for the gaming tavern, that we would need more people. But then again, this was one of the things where I was like, let's go ahead and get started. And that way we can try out bugs or, try out the software, find bugs and things like that, figure out exactly what the organizational structure needs to be before there are, say, 100 people or 400 people or something like that. I don't know how many people might ultimately be interested, but I also haven't been, promoting it beyond this, this live stream right now, because a smaller number of people is good, so that we can coordinate and figure out how to actually make all of this happen before there's more. So let's see here. If you're wondering what we're talking about, let me go ahead and just show this. So here it is. Actually, let me share my screen. I noticed Robert's in here, or offline, but in here. Robert got the link. Robert is in. Oh, wrong button. So here is our gaming tavern. And I was I realized, see here, we got the help desk down here. We got the help desk, but I realized we got a flaw here, because for some reason, by default, Google does not, when you go to share something, Google doesn't actually share it. Okay, so I got to figure that out. So that doesn't have the share. There's a sign over here, which I thought was so good. I could just put Google Docs up in here and then share out the Google Doc. But no, of course not. Google does not allow you to just use a link to share. You got to do something else to get outside of your organization or whatever it is. We found that going on. But I got to fix that. And also, like I said, I want you to be able to access the schedule from in here, because if you're in here in the gaming tavern, then you need to be able to go up to something like another one of these desks with a Google Doc schedule in it, and be able to go to it and first of all check the schedule, but then also edit it so that if you want to put in a new game, first of all you can sign yourself up, but then also that way you can schedule games, and other people can come and see what else is scheduled and check it and reference it within the coffee shop. So those are 3 known issues that I've got down to actually fix up the coffee shop right now. But this works very well. So if we're going to play Hero Quest, we can play Hero Quest right now. The different tables, so blue is virtualtabletop.io. So if you sit down at one of the blue tables, you are connected to virtualtabletop.io. That's the open source one that has a bunch of different games already loaded. If you go over to the white box, then you log into playingcards.io. And then there are a couple of other ones over here. There is a dedicated Dominion and One Night Werewolf, but I'm going to remove those. That's another known issue right here. Let's see, remove One Night Werewolf, because I've got a better way to play One Night Werewolf that is through playingcards.io. And then over here, Dominion, same way. I just want to make out a new Dominion rather than going into this specific Dominion login right over here. So those are some things I need to work on. But Hero Quest, and the One Night Werewolf works. Yesterday, I was also working with somebody on the tech. This is obviously easier to do on the computer. If you're going to be live, if you're going to be doing a video call effectively and also manipulating a game board, then you kind of need to be on a computer. Some people were. I had somebody who was trying to do it on his phone, and I was like, the phone is not going to work. You can download the software on an iPad, but I think that having more screen real estate is going to be an important thing. And somebody didn't. I was also dealing with the tech problems. I was also making a list yesterday of different things to tell people, okay, you do need a microphone, because it's going to be very difficult. You don't have to have a video screen. Video screens are nice, so you can do the video call and see who's playing with you. But you do have to have a microphone for this, because it's very difficult to play a board game if you can't hear people. But if you log in right here, but check this out. So if you walk in over here and you sit down, you go to X, here's playingcards.io. And for instance, I could say, hey, let's play Hero Quest right here. And then I would send everybody this code who's sitting here at the table. I could do that in the chat or however. And then look at that. So that's how it'll actually look right here in the tavern. So let's close this side right over here. And you'll have everybody video chatting up there at the top of the screen. And then down here, you've got your entire board that you're going to be able to just manipulate just like a game board. So I think this is really neat, and it's going to be really exciting. And it's going to be, I think that it's going to be a great environment for doing virtual board gaming, and we'll just continue to add more games. Like I said, it's also, we've been talking about doing some type of West Marches style game. But see, I'm glad that I went ahead and started, right? Because there's a lot to do in order to coordinate a whole West Marches style game, from what we need to have built out, the game system we're using, all kinds of other things like this, on top of all the administration and logistics and getting people to sign up and learning how to run the organization and things like that. So this is still learning all of that and getting it started. So if we want to, that way, people will already be in, they'll understand how to, use the software, things like that. So then if we want to start more games and different types of games, people will already be going. But I'm excited about that. I mean, it's so fun that, you actually just walk up. Now, I haven't seen anybody else doing things like this. This place is for 2-player too as well. So if you're like playing Stratego or something like that, you can play that too over here. Foundry, I'm having trouble logging into. We're going to see if we can get Foundry working. That's a known issue. You can use Alchemy as well, the virtual tabletop. I don't have anything built out for Alchemy, but you might. And so you want to play a table around Alchemy that's black. Alchemy, that's the immersive cinematic RPG experience. So I don't know if any other place that's like this. I know some places where you can go, if you've got a certain publisher for a certain game, that they host like online games of their particular game. But I don't know of anything like this. Virtual Tavern. I'm calling it, I guess it's going to stick. The Virtual Tavern's going to stick versus the Virtual Coffee Shop. This is kind of set up as a coffee shop, but maybe we call it like the Ravenkeep Virtual Games Tavern or something like that. The Virtual Tavern. But I don't know of a place like this where you can come physically interact and with one another. And by the way, if you don't know this software, like if there's somebody else in here, when you physically move up close to each other or digitally move up close to each other in the space, it brings up your camera and your audio to them. So you can actually, as you walk up to somebody and talk to them, as you walk up to somebody, you're connected through a video chat. So you can actually talk to them. So I don't know of any place else that's doing this. I think it'll be pretty cool. I think it'll be pretty cool. If you want to play tonight, at 6 p.m., sign up right here. I'll send out another link. Let's see. And this is just a general interest form. So even if you can't play tonight, but you want to play or want to be part of the gaming tavern, you can sign up here. Is this the right? Okay, that's the right link. Gaming link. Gaming interest link. Right there. Sign up right there. And then what I want to do is I want to have like you'll get unlimited access to the tavern for a month. I'm not sure right now. I'm just running that through my Shopify, but I'm not sure if later on down the road does it need to actually be connected directly to a tier of this of like the channel membership, or does it need to be its own independent Patreon thing? I don't know. But right now, I don't want to set up anything more than I have to in order to get it running, get people sort of in and things like that. So I'm just running access through the through Shopify. But if you have access for a month, then you should be able to just jump in here with whoever or whenever and organize a game or do a spontaneous game or whatever. I mean, I don't have to be there for every game. It'll just be a community here, so that if you want to see who is here, or you want to, put it, maybe if there's a separate Discord or something like that, or right now it's the Ravenkeep Discord, post to it, and then have people come in here and enjoy a game or something like that. So still very early, but you got to start someplace. Let's see. Jeffries says, "What is Gather exactly? Didn't have much time last month." Gather is that software that was running that tavern, that coffee shop right there. Gather is that software right there that you saw me walking around in. Yes, mental fish need their mental health. Breathe and sip. Okay, so let's go ahead and breathe and sip, and then let's jump in and take a look at what's going on the Starship Enterprise. So here we go. Everybody got your coffee this morning, or whatever it is, got your favorite beverage, whatever it is. We will breathe and sip. So here we go. Let's 2 deep hails, 1 exhale, and then 1 exhale, 2 inhales, 2 exhales, and then take your sip. Here we go. Some people don't do it. Got to do it with me. Here we go. And sip. Okay, feels good. Oh, and good. My signal strength is back up. So that's perfect timing. So, all right. Let's see here. Correct. $15. 50, right. Well, and we don't have, I mean, this is short. We only have a few days left in this, in this month. Yes. So you would pay for access for the month, and then you can sign up for as many games as you want to, or generate as many games as you sign up. That's what I'm thinking right now. So it's access to the tavern. I did meet him though. He's here. He was there. He was great. He's a lot of fun. All right, let me see. So this is in Kingsland, Georgia. And so it was basically just like an entire day of travel for me to get out there. But it's absolutely, if you're a Star Trek fan, I highly recommend you're coming out here. All right, let's see. I'm going to take me down so we can see what is going on at this set. And then you're never going to believe where I am. I am here on the set of the original series Enterprise here at Neutral Zone Studios. This is one of the most incredible things that I have ever done in my life. The fact that this exists is incredible. This is the complete 1966 set. We have had such a great time. Vic Mignogna has been here. He's been giving a tour of the entire set. Of course, this is where Star Trek Continues was shot. That is just an absolutely incredible show on YouTube. And then to be here for it to still exist, to be able to use it, to be able to take pictures, to be able to do fan films, this place is an absolute treasure. I am at one of the coolest places that I have ever been to. I'm here at Neutral Zone Studios, where they have built a replica of the original series Starship Enterprise, the Constitution class, 1966. They said within inches of the original set that was set up in Desilu, and it's absolutely amazing. There's a few things that are different, but basically everything that they had in order to shoot the Starship Enterprise here is here. And so I'm sitting here in what is the crew quarters, but this is the crew quarters that can be redressed to be the captain's quarters or Spock's quarters or anybody else's quarters that needs to be redressed. You can have it right here. I even thought that, well, look, they've got the Saurian Ale. This is so cool. I just took a tour. Vic was here. Vic Mignogna was here. So he gave the tour. I might go on the tour again. There was so much to take in. I want to see the whole ship again. But, we saw the entire thing. Everybody's over there on the bridge taking pictures and things like that. So I came over here to shoot. But, this is I should get over here. So we've got, our view screen that you can put things on. So if you're the captain sitting here in his quarters studying something, and then, of course, Spock's going to call from the bridge or Uhura or something like that. This is absolutely priceless, a complete treasure. I have got to find some way to get everybody down here to be able to do some type of Star Trek fan film, because just the existence of this is just so cool. So this is sort of the bedroom, and they were telling me how things change, like where you put the bed in a different location, or the desk in a different location, and all the different set dressings that would make it one person's quarters, Spock's quarters versus Captain Kirk's quarters. We got the bed down here, and we got the whole story on this fabric that was custom woven to try to replicate exactly what was in the original series. And so that's here, and it's here in sick bay as well. I mean, everything about this is so cool. And, you know, one of the things that isn't so neat about it is that it's so compressed. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to walk around. I'm going to try to get some more video walking around. But it is really compressed because, okay, here, this corner will be the Jeffries Tube. Over here, this will be the crew's quarters. The sick bay is just right over there. And then, like, I believe, like, basically on the other side of this wall is both the briefing room, and that can be redressed as the recreation room. And then you've got different areas that, you know, this particular corner is this shot, this particular corner is that shot. I mean, it's a big place, but they also have so much stuff, you know, that is inside this particular set. So I'm going to walk around as I can and just get some different shots. This is the first thing that I saw when I came here to Neutral Zone Studios, and you just immediately feel like you are on board the Starship, because this is main engineering. They have the sound effects turned on so you actually hear the hum of the engines. This really cool console over here, and then look at the depth that's actually faked with a false perspective here, so that it looks like, you know, this tube goes really down deep, even though it's only, like, I think he said 12 feet deep in actuality. But this is one of the only times, I believe, he said, that this set has been reconstructed, because the engineering is a 2-story set, and it's got all of the ceiling that has been reconstructed as well. So you have the authentic ceiling, and then also all of the control panels over here, and then, you know, areas to work up there. I'm not going to walk up there right now, but I would guess that that's functional set space, which I don't know if that got used a lot in the show, but it seems like something you would definitely want to use in a fan film. You got to have lots of engineers in here working around, making the Starship go. And then this right here, I think, is pretty cool. To me, it's like the original series pool table. You know, in the Next Generation, they always had the pool table that they worked around in engineering. So this is like the equivalent of the pool table for the original series. That's a really great shot right there. Get a lot of engineering going on right here. Even these, Vic was saying, are authentic reproductions. And of course, at the time, these things that are on the wall, they were just packaging from a computer or a toaster, not a computer, but a toaster or, you know, whatever it is, TV, maybe, I don't know. But so they were just really cheap things that were available when they were creating the sets in 1966 or 65 or whenever it was actually built. But now, of course, you can't find packaging for whatever those types of objects were, so they had to be recreated, and then they were 3D sculpted out of foam in order to be back here on the Enterprise. Here's just the main corridor, and I mean, when you walk through, that's one of the doors, the first door that you come through, and as soon as you walk through that door and you look down, I mean, you feel like you're on the Enterprise. And I smiled so big when I looked at this and it said, Leonard McCoy, MD. So here we go into sick bay. All right, so here we go this way, and then look what you see. Here is sick bay. And I didn't get a chance to look completely around this place when I came in the first time. But oh, we got some kind of alien skull over here. Control panels, but it's actually this direction over here. I'm walking across the set, and it's from over here that you get the classic angle that you see in the show so much. So from someplace over here, you know, of course, zoom in or something like that, those are 2 sick bay beds that you see so much. All of the doors are functional, and they're functional like they were in 1966, because they're actually controlled by pulleys. So somebody can open and close the doors when they're supposed to be opened and closed. And then you've got all of the medical monitor displays up there. Once again, the highly authentic custom woven fabric that Vic had created just for this in order to recreate this as authentically as possible. And it sparkles. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. All the lights aren't on right now, but it kind of sparkles right here. And then you also have this arm. I remember Khan was using this arm, right, to review information about the Starship Enterprise. And you can see also the blue. And he said that was there in the original set to help them have a really clean area to cut out when they were trying to superimpose some type of image for something they would be looking at on the screens. I guess we get to see exactly what is up here. We were monitoring respiration, temperature, brain, lungs, cell rate, blood Q3. Is that like oxygen level? Blood T2. I'm not 100% sure what this is, could this have been used on the Romulan bridge? So we've got these other pieces, things are put out of the way in different corners that can be pulled out to create different shots. Was this Romulan? I don't know. Or maybe it's something that's on like a star base or something. But what I really liked was I saw them with I saw a clip with this right here. Here is the photon torpedo. So if you need to haul around a photon torpedo, and I would like to do something with a photon torpedo. I really like it when they're loading the torpedo bays. But I noticed back here in sick bay, we've got the torpedo back here. And here we come to the transporter room. This is a really neat room. So over here, see if I step back this way, you're going to be able to see where the kind of iconic shot would be back here. And then we've got, here, let me get back here so you can actually see also the control panel. Oh, we got the sliders too. I didn't get to see this when I was on tour. We have the operational sliders, the 3 sliders that Scotty always used to transport them. Oh, that is so cool. Oh yeah, that'd be great. Now, and there's actually action lights to do the transporter effect here. So they can make these things flash so that you can get the authentic transporter effect. Oh, there we go. So that is what would happen when people are beaming in and out. And of course you have the actor up there and then you start the lights and the actor then moves away and the lights go again and then you put in the sparkling effect. So this is so neat. I noticed also there is some other type of workstation here in the corner. I guess that could be a different work location, or maybe there was something back here for the transporter room. I don't remember. But this is really cool. And the transporter pads are authentic as well, because Vic was saying that this light down here, oh, I don't know how well it comes up on camera. I always thought it was something metallic, but it's not. It's actually something that lights up here. And Vic was saying that this is a specific type of lens that was probably pretty common when they were actually shooting Star Trek in the 60s. And they were able to get some of these lenses from a major light and put it under here to be the transporter pad bottom. But these are not really commonly available anymore, like the rocker switches. But they were able to find one. They were able to find one that was the authentic light that was used right here. And so, of course, what happened? Well, this is the mold of that particular light panel, right? Or that, that light lens. And so they took one mold of it and then they cast it in resin. So even though these aren't over here, the actual authentic lenses, they are all resin casts of exactly the right lens. So you have exactly what you're supposed to have for the transporter chamber. Authentic background, something, he says like a drum skin or something back here. And then the lights up in the transporter room. So actually, here's a shot you don't get very often. This is what it would look like. I'm standing on one of the transporter pads right now. So this is what Captain Kirk would see when he beams in and beams out. And here I am in the transporter chamber. This is so cool. They put so much attention to detail. I mean, this whole thing was just done with so much love. So this is auxiliary control. So there's a lot in here, and this space is also used as a lot of swing space to create other offices, or we were just talking about creating Klingon or Romulan vessels in here, but it was originally designed as auxiliary control, but there is a lot more that you can do with it. We've got other workstations set up over here, and then also this area right here has even become a cargo bay, Vic was saying, and then those tables right there, when you need to redress the conference room into the recreation room, those are the tables that you use right here. But I think this is pretty cool. It's become different offices for different starbase admirals or commodores or things like this. So this is a real flexible area of the set, but it could probably be a lot of different parts of, well, anything that you need it to be. I think this area back here is pretty cool. So who knows what part of the starship this is. Could be anything you need it to. It's kind of a neat little hideaway back here. I really like it. Let's go down to the briefing room. Here we go. So here we are set up as the briefing room right now. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is there aren't any chairs here in the briefing room, but he was saying that's because the chairs right now are on the bridge. So he says even like on the original production set, Well, you just move around the chairs where you need them. So the chairs, they found like the original chairs that they had and then modified in order to be the Starship Enterprise chairs. So there are just enough, you can move them around where you need them. But this is our conference room set up, or it could be recreation. So we've got the viewer, the tri-screen viewer right here. And then also this control panel, but I noticed there isn't a whole lot on this control panel. So I guess that's for looking someone the other way. Oh, I bet Uhura was sitting at that in the episode Space Seed with Khan in it. And, you know, we've got the really neat look to this part of the ship as well. So you can get some really neat angles. On part of the saucer section, really cool. This right here is the Jeffries Tube. So there's just one, but of course you can redress it so that it can be whatever part of the ship you need it to be. I really want to climb up it, but I'm not. But that's a great shot that you have right there to see what's going on with this Jeffries Tube. You can climb up it because they made it so that you can stand on these stairs going up. So that if Scotty needs to repair some part of the ship, he can definitely do that. And then also there's a platform up there so that you can get a shot coming down the Jeffries Tube as well. So there's a platform for the cameras and everything up there so that you can climb up here and get the shot down into the actor's face. Super cool. This is, it says the engineering control room, but that's just this door. We're about to go through here and we're going to see the bridge for the first time. Check this out. As we turn this way, look what you see. Isn't this cool? This is one of the most amazing things that I have ever seen. Here we have the entire bridge set. And we were just in here learning about everything and taking some photos and things like that. But I mean, this is the entire set. I mean, I watched so much Star Trek as a kid, and particularly the original series crew. And to be sitting right here, being able to look at this, where Kirk and Spock, of course, I was also a big Spock fan, so there's Spock's workstation with his scanner that's shining the blue light and everything into that. This is just so amazing. And here are Kirk, Sulu and Chekhov's positions, of course. And then you're hearing audio that's like the Starship, but it's obviously that's just for us because the sound of the ship is so important. But when you're shooting, you don't have the sound going because you don't want that audio on people's microphones. You put that in later. But Vic was saying that all of these switches right here, they are very common switches in 1966 when they were actually constructing the original set, but they're not so common anymore. But they found the exact switches that were used all over the ship. These switches, you can see them down here as well. There are a bunch of them. I believe there's some over here on the captain's chair as well. So they found the original switch that they used and then made a mold of them and then cast a whole bunch of them so they could have them all over the set. So those are the authentic looking switches. Let's go over here. This is Uhura's workstation. And of course, I like that they even have the futuristic zip disks, right? I think that's just a great part of Star Trek because, of course, they envisioned so much about the future, but they didn't get like wireless networking between computers down. They still have to. I remember in some episodes, like Spock will come over from his workstation to deliver Uhura some type of information on a disk that she needs to access. So they didn't have like the idea that all of the Enterprise command stations or workstations on the bridge would even be interconnected, and networked together. These two stations, of course, you don't really see that often in the show because this shot back here was the main shot. You see a lot of people like this way because you've got Spock over here. There is another workstation over here as well, but then over here, that's supposed to be engineering, I believe, back there, and then two other workstations. Well, of course, you would need it to be able to control a Constitution-class starship. So here I am in the captain's chair, right? I mean, when you're on the bridge of the Enterprise, you've got to be in the captain's chair. I mean, this is an absolute dream come true. This is amazing. Of course, I had to pick up at least some Starfleet uniform for for coming here. And so I picked up, of course, Command Gold, although probably I'm also going to have to pick up Science Officer Blue as well. The Science is blue. But man, look at how good this looks. All of this lighting, he was talking about how the lighting was replicated from the original set. For right here, he was saying that it's actually lit very theatrically, like a theatrical production, because a lot of TV shows were lit like that at the era. And so in order to get the right lighting to make Star Trek look like it's supposed to look like, you've got to have the theatrical hard lighting. So if we look up here, you can see the lights that are up above us. This is so cool. I played Mr. Spock as a kid all the time. And so now I'm actually here at his workstation. We got switches. These switches actually work. That way you can actually control something right here. A lot of these are just light up acrylic or glass, whatever they were at the time, probably acrylic right now, that aren't functional. But the switches are functional. Here we've got Mr. Spock's zip discs right here. The fabric, the authentic fabric for whatever this is supposed to be that he's working on, and also this over here. And oh, looks like this was turned off. But I got a shot over here because there was actually the blue light coming out of this. And of course, scanning, Captain. You can go over here and scan something over here. This was a great shot. But wow. I can think of so many things to do with this. All right. That's it. That was a fantastic trip. It was an intense trip because they only open the place up for tours like once every month. So it's like one weekend a month where they do tours. So you got to sign up and be there. And I did this last December. It's taken me way too long to get all that edited together. Way too long. Should have done it long before now. But so I went there last December, and it was actually like my family was having a Christmas party. Like, what was it? Like, I want to say that my family was having a Christmas party and like for lunch. And then I left for Georgia, like right after the Christmas party, spent the night out there, and then did my tour on Sunday, then drove back that night, got back late night, and then came home and then went to my next Christmas party the next morning or something like that. Let's see. So, yeah, so that's one of the first things that I noticed. And you have to have that for it to feel right. And a lot of people are noticing that's exactly as how great it feels, because the sound is so important. The sound design is so important on so many of these things, right? But especially on something like the Enterprise, to make it feel real, to make it feel lived in, to make it feel like it's got a heartbeat, to feel like it's alive. That's so important. So they've got speakers set up throughout the set, so that you can hear the authentic sounds. But of course, you do not have that running when you're actually shooting the show. You don't have that running when you're shooting the show, because otherwise, like if you're having to edit or cut something like that, you don't want to have to be editing and cutting up the background sound. You want to just have the dialogue from the actors. Then that is the sound is added in post. So that's always something that's missing. If you're not there, it's going to be missing. And so putting in speakers so that you can have the audio when you're doing tours and things like that is so important. Let's see. Yes, Grant Imara. I don't know if I say the last name right, but yes. So, who played Sulu? He died? Oh, wait a minute. Was it Sulu who died? Okay, I thought it was Spock, but it may have been Sulu. Let's see. It's so worth it to go and see this. It's so worth it to go and see it. I mean, it's so awesome that it's that Vic went to this much trouble. That Vic Mignogna went to this much trouble to replicate this in so much detail. Like I said, it's basically to the inch. It's basically to the inch replicated the original set. And he said that it was easier to do in some respects than he thought, because he was like, I need to get some type of measurement. Like, how can I get some type of measurement that I can replicate when I'm looking at the original series? But but it was something as simple as a plywood sheet, whatever your standard size plywood sheet is, like 8x4 or whatever it is like that. Well, they just built a lot of that set out of plywood sheets that you could go and buy at the store, right, at the hardware store. And so, like when you said, when you're going down the hallway and the different panels, the metal panels, they're supposed to be metal panels, like the gray panels that are going down the hallway. Well, those are like, oh, perfect. Those are 8.5 by 8x4, whatever it is, the standard size plywood sheet. They weren't cut when they were originally built. It was just like plywood sheet, and then some type of gap, and then plywood sheet and plywood sheet. So then he was able to determine the size of everything else on the set. He said the only thing that's different is that engineering is in a different location relative to the rest of the set than it was in someplace else. They ran out of room. They didn't have enough room in the direction of the sound stage to put engineering where it was in relation to the rest of the set or something. And so engineering is on the other side of the set. But otherwise, I mean, that's the engineering is right. It just happens to be a different location relative to the rest of the set that it was. Let's see. Hey, Aaron. Good to see you. But yeah, so if you go there, I'd like to do something. I have to do something with a photon torpedo. Daniel's always good at catching that. But it's free. Now they are asking for donations and things like that. In fact, they just ran, because what they've got to do is they have to rent this place. So you can go down there. It's free to take a tour like every month. If you just look up Neutral Zone Studios, you can't tour during the summer because it's in Kingsland, Georgia, and there's no air conditioning in the warehouse. It's built into this basically warehouse, and there's no AC in it. So it is hot in southern Georgia weather during the summer. So they basically shut it down during the summer. But they still have to rent the warehouse. It was built in a warehouse that Vic rented. And then Ray, this guy's name's Ray. I forget his last name. But Ray bought the entire set from Vic. So Vic comes down there, too, to give tours of it. But Ray now manages the entire place. Bought it from Vic so that it didn't have to be torn down. And now he manages it. You can go down there free, but they do accept donations. And in fact, they just did an Indiegogo campaign. I just realized that it had ended. But they tried to do it like a summer Indiegogo campaign to raise money to continue to pay the rent and to raise enough money to maintain the place. Because otherwise, it'll have to be torn down. And nobody wants that. I mean, this is such a gym. So basically, they survive off of donations. To continue to pay rent month to month in order to keep that set up and functional, and also pay electricity so that the lights can be on, things like that when people are there. So that's how they operate. Lynn's got a good question. I always wondered what would happen if you moved one of the sliders in the transporter. Why are there three? Right, and if it's some kind of catastrophe, if you just move one, why not just have one slider? One thing that connects all of them. That's a great question. So they do look like a lighthouse, but because they're gigantic spotlights. I mean, you have to remember, he knows exactly what type of specification for what light it was, but it's, a camera is required so much more light. And that's why, like, it was interesting that the lighting is theatrical. So it means, like, what type of lighting is there? It's lit like a theater stage, because that was still the tradition and the mindset people were in as far as television production goes. But also, just the cameras require a lot of light. I mean, cameras require even a lot of light today, but not nearly as much. So lighting back then, of course, lighting was hot too. So those were some type of gigantic spotlights that were brought on stage that, those lenses got used. Yes, so auxiliary control, right. So that's that they call it the swing space, but it's set up for auxiliary control. And they did use that in Star Trek Continues when they separate the saucer section. I don't know. Did they use the term battle bridge in the original series? I don't think they did. I think they used auxiliary control. So I think it's auxiliary control and where you could control, your backup bridge, or your auxiliary control system. And then in Star Trek Continues, they did use that as the control for the drive section when they separated the saucer and the drive. let's see. But yeah, I don't know where it was. Sable was talking about the shapes that were the pieces of garbage and packing. I mean, it was built so cheap. You know, that's so inspirational to me as well. Now, of course, things change, so people expect more out of things today, you know, than they did then. But I mean, there was a lot for then. But when you look there and you go, okay, this, of course, on one level, it's very complex, especially that it was rebuilt. But on the other hand, you know, it's also so simple in a charming way. And you think that this is what it was that started Star Trek. I mean, everything that Star Trek is, everything that we love about it, it was started there with painted plywood. More than that too. But I mean, you know, not anything particularly sophisticated. We've got a limited budget and we got to build a set for an entire starship. And that's really cool to me. So even pieces like the packaging, you know, bits of packaging got reused, you know, and put up there. Look, this looks like a cool, you know, greeble. This could be, you know, greeble thing. So just paint it and put it up on the wall. And it all worked. And it's what generated Star Trek. And I try to remember that when I'm talking about, you know, when you're trying to build something like, you know, I get stuff I'm trying to do. It's okay to start simple. All right, let's see. Start before you're ready. Start simple, and then grow from there. Because, like, you know, you can always think of what's the most you can possibly do. Now, in that case, building the entire set, the original series set to the inch replica, I mean, that's a lot. But, you know, back in the day, what can we do? There was a lot of scrounging. There was a lot of like, all right, we got to get something to put together. We got to build the starship and we got to build it cheap. James says, seriously, who even is Luke Skywalker? I've always preferred Trek. I know, different subgenres, different formats, different stories and goals, but Trek always had primacy in my heart. I remember, well, and even today I go back and forth. At least we're talking about the original Star Wars. I would say that the original Star Wars versus the original series, the Next Generation, and the original series movies. That was basically what I was watching as a kid. I went back and forth. Whichever one I was watching at the time, I think I liked more. I would go back and forth. Well, okay, if you walk around, I didn't capture this, but there's also, like, behind, you saw a little bit of this when I walked through that door that said main engineering. So that's actually what the door they would use to go into engineering. But you go past that door and then you turn around and then you're on the bridge set. But if you're in that space behind it, there is all of the space for costume storage, bathrooms that are there, and then also kitchen space and mess hall area for people to for eating to go on behind it. So if you rent the place out, you can rent the place out to do a fan film. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But if you rent the place out to do a fan film or whatever, then that also comes with that. So you get all that space back there. Now you got to be quiet because you can't have people back there like laughing it up and stuff like that, because otherwise you'll hear it. But there is, when you walk around behind it, you get to like basically the administrative side of things in the back. So I don't know. Vic built it all. Vic self-funded this. It would be great. Wouldn't it be great if Vic would come on Table Talk? I would love to have Vic on Table Talk. Maybe he will. I don't know him. I met him at the Neutral Zone Studios, and he's really cool. But who knows? Maybe it would be great if we could have him. Yeah, you could 3D print it. You could 3D print a lot of that now. Although it's also sometimes casting is cheap and fast. Casting can be cheap and fast, but I'm not sure when. See, when was this built? I mean, this has been many years ago, so 3D printing probably wasn't what it is now. Let's see. Yeah, you know, and Lou was surprised. You know, Lou Anders, my friend. Lou worked. I forget what magazines. Lou was a writer and editor for different science fiction magazines out in LA, and so he was on board he got to be on board of a bunch of science fiction sets. And he said that he was surprised that that Neutral Zone Studios let you wear a uniform. But yeah, like the guy, you saw the guy behind me. There was a guy, let me see if I can just find this guy. He had there are a lot of people who wore uniforms, Neutral Zone Studios. They don't care. I mean, this is a fan place. And it occurred to me when Lou said that I was like, oh, so if you're actually on one of the actual sets taking a tour, it makes sense that they might not let you wear a uniform. So I don't know about that. Like, can you, if you're on a set taking a tour, can you wear a uniform? They probably don't want you to, because they don't want you to take pictures that look like you're on Star Trek or something like that. So you can't wear a uniform on the set. I think that was one of the rules that Lou had. But at Neutral Zone Studios, you can't. If people come and dress up in the uniforms. I just had a shirt put on because I was like, I have to wear something. So I ordered that shirt. But let me see. There were some people who came with some very authentic uniforms. This guy, right? Okay. Yes, here we go. This guy, this was his first time on set, and he had come for a long way away. His wife had brought him for a like a gift, and he has this really authentic. He had this really authentic uniform, and he even has cut his hair into William Shatner's pointy sideburns here. So there were so many people that were there who were like, I mean, you had people who were coming back time after time to see the set on the fan appreciation weekends, but you also had people for whom this means so much. And like, he was one of them, who had gone to all the trouble, didn't make this uniform just for this trip, but, has the authentic uniform, had always wanted one. And then, man, he was right at home. Like, this was everything to him. And, that's why I can't be, that's one of the reasons why I love everything in the Geekverse so much, these things. And maybe one day we'll get to contribute to it in some degree, because it's so meaningful to so many people. It's so meaningful to so many people. And how it's influenced you positively, for the better. But, in this case, in this case, it's so great. Can you imagine coming here and not being allowed to sit down or not being allowed to wear a uniform? Here, since it's a fan built thing, wear a uniform, come in. I mean, you got to be careful. They give you the rundown on what you can stand on and what you cannot stand on, because he said some things on this set look like you should be able to stand on it or lean on it, but you actually can't, because it's a set. So you get a rundown on that. But can you imagine coming here and not being able to be in uniform or not actually being able to sit in the captain's chair? I mean, it's so great that it's a return to what it was, that it exists, that it's meaningful to people, and that you can come and you can actually be a part of it in that way. Let's see. It was. Oh, I look good in Command Gold. Okay. I think so too. Scrolling through the comments here. Oh, yes. Okay, so they have a Patreon up. Okay, so I knew they just ran the Indiegogo. We need that link. Let's go over here and get that link right now. Let me go over here. Did you post that in the grind? Okay. Yes. Okay, so copy link if you want to help keep it. So this is Neutral Zone Studios Patreon. That's very important. So you can get a membership on the Patreon. I just put that link in the comment section. So thank you. I was thinking about the Indiegogo, but I forgot that they also have a Patreon to help keep them going month to month. Neutral Zone Studios cuts booking in the summer due to Georgia heat and the lack of AC on set. They have a Patreon and take donations to recoup the lost booking fees. I'll link to it in Discord, so that's also in the Discord. Nichelle Nichols was there. Oh, let me bring up. Bring up this. She was not there while I was there. She has been there. People who produce something there sign it. Okay, so her documentary, which I have not seen, which I need to see, come to think of it, but I have not ever seen. But Nichelle Nichols shot a documentary on there. So this was, there we go. up on the wall. And she was actually, they said that she actually had to shoot part of her documentary. So Nichelle Nichols' Breaking Barriers documentary. So she came onto the set in order to shoot part of the documentary there. And they said they had to do it during the summer. And it was like blazing hot inside that building. But that was the only time that she was available to shoot. So she had to do it like in the middle of Georgia heat inside this warehouse. It would be cool to one day maybe be down there again and actually maybe this fall or something like that, go down there again and shoot the shoot the whole morning grind from the bridge. Yeah, it only gets up to 120 degrees in the warehouse before you turn on the lights, right? Something like that. But she also signed. So if you do a fan film or you do something there, you do some kind of production there, then you sign the back of the set. And so because she had shot the documentary there, here it is. That's her signature on the back of one of the wall panels. So when you walk around the back, this is one of the wall panels that has her signature on it. So it's there. Lynn says there's another Star Trek TOS set reproduction here in New York, Fort Ticonderoga. I believe they also offer set tours. I've heard about that. Now, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Okay, it is the Star Trek original series tour. Okay. Okay, cool. So they rebuilt it in Fort Ticonderoga as well. I've been to Fort Ticonderoga. Didn't see Star Trek. I was there for a historical tour. Actually went to Fort Ticonderoga. But also in there is somebody else too, and this is going to be so cool. And I need to find out where it is, but they were talking about it when I was there. Somebody else is doing a replica of the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan bridge, someplace for films. And oh my God, I'm going to have to go and see that, like wherever it is, because that's my favorite. Like I also want to be on board a replica of the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan bridge, the refit bridge. That would be cool. And if I could, I'm not really huge into cosplaying, but there are a couple of things that I think would be cool to do. If I just could have a cosplay outfit someplace, I would do one of the maroon, like Star Trek II uniforms. So to be able to go to one of the refit enterprises when that's done, when that's finished, wherever that's going to be, somebody's doing it. They were talking about, and then to go in uniform to that would be cool. Let's see what else is going on in here. Let me take this down. What else? Star Trek was born from packaging styrofoam, confirmed, and reused Western sets. Let's see. Ghostly Karma. Hey, Ghostly Karma. It was a very wholesome experience. There's another replica set in upstate New York run by James Crawley. So is that the Fort Ticonderoga set? Yeah, refit bridge is my fave. Yeah, the red uniforms. I got to find out where they're doing that. That would be worth another flight or road trip. So you can do fan films there. And see, I was trying to think. I got to figure out different ways to fund the operations, but I was trying to decide. Okay, I don't know if we'll ever be able to do the Cultist season 3. I'm changing, by the way. I've been still moving around a whole bunch of videos to brand YouTube channels better. Now that I've been doing the morning grind for a year, and I've got a lot more material with table talk and things like that, I'm going to be moving some things to some other YouTube channels and trying to brand them better. Maybe I think we'll get better traction that way on some of this. Because just started this live streaming thing and running the morning grind as an example and a test. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do the Cultist season 3. That'll move to its own YouTube channel. But before I went there, I was like, what do we need to do? You know, Brianna, as the director, is trying to get together a show of hers, a short film that she's directed and completely put together. She's editing one phase of that right now. And I was thinking, do we need, you know, the Cultist was created because we could just do it. You know, it wasn't something you could just do quite like that. But as far as like, it wasn't requiring science fiction costuming or alien costuming or something like that. We could just go to the park and we could shoot the Cultists. And I could do all the costuming. And well, Megan did a lot of the costuming. I did a lot of the prop creation and things like that. We could just do it. But on the other hand, I was thinking, man, it would also be really neat to take a team down there for like 3 days, to do like 3 days worth of shooting there. That would be so cool. Because then you've got the set, and then you would need the costuming, but you can costume it by basically buying some costumes. Because Star Trek, you know, the original series stuff is something that's out there. You can buy costumes for a shoot. So yes, you have to buy them, but I'm saying you don't have to custom sew a whole bunch of stuff. You know what the costumes are supposed to look like, and they are available. And so if we had good looking costumes, and we've obviously got the good looking set, if we were there for 3 days, because if you go down there for 1 day, you might as well go down there for 2. If you go down there for 2 days, you might as well go down there for 3. That's an extended weekend. 4 days starts to push it. But if you could get people to go down there for 3 days, what could you create? You know, you'd have to go down there with scripts and things like that too. But what could you create in 3 days? And try to do something very good from a production perspective. Because one thing, you know, we had our level of production for the Cultists. We stepped up our level of production dramatically for the Cultist season 2. We'd be able to step up our production level even further for the Cultist season 3. But, you know, it takes 14 days worth of production to do worth of shooting in order to do the Cultists. So if you said, hey, everybody, let's go down there to Neutral Zone Studios, but let's do 3 days of shooting. Let's see how much material we can shoot in 3 days of shooting. Like, one thing I thought would be fun. I mean, who knows? It would still be expensive to get everybody down there. And you got to rent it. You do have to rent it if you're going to be there shooting a fan film to basically, again, cover their operating costs. Because they have people come in who know how to operate the lights and the rigging and stuff like that. So you're bringing people in who know how to operate the sets. You don't have to learn how to do that. You have people who know how to operate it there for you, you know, and then also pay for the rent and electricity and all of that that's going on. So you pay that in order to shoot there. But I was thinking, if we had some type of short, like, we can't do what we did with the Cultists and like have just, you know, like a short 1 episode or something like that. I think I would want to write something. I thought this would be cool, so that people could then cycle through all the different bridge positions. So you have like some scene on the bridge, and then let everybody cycle through all the bridge positions so you can see who's the best captain, who's the best first officer, and things like that. And then you have one scene, basically, but you'd have a bunch of different variants of it with people in different different bridge locations. That's one way you could do it. I don't know. Well, some people would like it. I mean, I would go on board. I mean, it's very open. I like the other look. Some of the other looks better. I would definitely want the original series or the refit bridge first. But I mean, for me, I do have a large connection with the Next Generation as well. Okay, Crawley show is called Star Trek New Voyages. 3 13-hour days. I've done 3 sets, 5 13-hour days in a single month. The Cultists in space. You know, you could do something. I mean, if you want to do some kind of spoof or something like that, you could definitely have, like, they arrive at a planet that's run by the Cultists. Like, Rob is running it, where Rob is worshipped as a pharaonic like deity king. But yeah, so it would have to be a labor of love. There's a hotel not far away, like 2 miles away or something like that, where you could stay. And the hotel gives breaks to people, price breaks to people who are shooting there. So you'd bring the whole cast there and crew, and then you'd have to maximize time. It's just like, from where I am, like I said, it's a whole day drive anyway. So that's a big deal to get everybody there. So you'd really have to say, listen, we're gonna have to shoot all day in order to make this worthwhile. James says, I have second AD experience and a ton of production experience. I'd do it just to do it. Pay my own hotel and food. Well, maybe one day we can organize that. I mean, that would be awesome. Like, that's why I was trying to say, I don't think that from my perspective, that I need to do a whole lot more physical production. The Cultist season 3 could be done just to do it, or something like this could be done just to do it. But I think that from where I am and what I need, the writing of the script and other things is more important. Brianna still needs direction experiments. So I don't know. But, you know, who knows? Maybe one day. Although it's one of those things, if it's one day, it could be sooner rather than later, or should be, if the funding is there. The funding would have to be there in order to do that. And, you know, it would also be fun to bring other people from YouTube, like other YouTubers who are in the Geekverse who wanted to come in and be part of the production. But also, you need people who, well, Brianna is interested in teaching and directing non-actors. She was like, I don't really know Star Trek. Brianna's not really a Star Trek person. She'd come up to speed on it in order to direct it. But she also is interested in directing non-directors. That would be cool. It would be cool. This over here, I was going to say, you're talking about Sable was things are not quite the way they appear. So this is the what I was showing off earlier, the Star Trek blueprints. I wish this had a date on it. Let me move my microphone. I wish this had, it was $5. Whatever it was $5. This was probably bought in the 70s. Oh, wait, look on the back. Oh, look, I just have a date. I was like, surely it has a date. I didn't ever turn this over before. So this is, 1975. First printing, April 1975. Third printing, July 1975. Okay, so this is from 1975. The plans of the Enterprise. And here, so here's the bridge plan. Let's see. Where's like that? I don't know. Okay, so here we go. So you can see here the bridge plan. This is the turbo lift. And the turbo lift, that bump right there for the turbo lift is at the back. If you're looking at an Enterprise module, that bump is immediately at the back of the bridge. But if you look here, but obviously on the set, it's off to the side. So it's on the exterior model, that bump should be right here. But it's off to the side, actually on the set, which means that they don't actually sit looking forward on that ship, right? The bump, see what I'm saying? That's the orientation if the Enterprise is flying this way. When you see the bump that is that turbo lift shaft, and this is going this way. So you would think the main viewer would be right here, but it's not. They command the Enterprise at like a, what is that? Like a 25-degree angle or something like that, 30-degree angle off of center, which is kind of weird, right? They command it looking in this direction. So Kirk is not, when the Enterprise is flying forward, Kirk and all the command crew are not looking forward. They're looking at an angle, which is kind of weird. But I was looking at, so the weapons and things like that. So command chair, obviously, navigation and helm. I remember looking at this and like, all right, now what are all the different stations on board the Enterprise? Command here, navigation and helm, that's obvious. Ship's communication is right behind the captain right here. And then, it's right behind the captain, but you're looking in from this direction on the set. So this part right here of the set is not built. That's the part that you walk in on. So you're talking about or one of the differences between the set and what the actual Enterprise would be like. This part right here is not on the set. So you walk in this direction, and then this is your camera area and stuff. So, but then over here, so obviously that's Uhura ship communication, CIC computer central. So that's the science station right here. Engineering is over here. ship's environment. This says ship's environment here. And then engineering subsystems monitor is that position right over here. There's the ones that don't often get used or manned in the show or often seen in the show as much. And then over here, I think it's interesting that over here, the positions that aren't built in, navigation. We've got navigation right here, but they have another dedicated navigation station right here. And then actually defense and weapons, which is something you never see in the show because, like I said, it's not even built. But according to the plans, defense and weapons are actually over here to, that would be the captain's forward right. And then this right here is defense subsystems monitor. So there's defense and weapons and then defense subsystems monitor. And then over here, engineering and then engineering subsystems monitor as well. So navigation and helm, but the show, a lot of action takes place in navigation and helm here. I don't know. Do they ever go over here to actually talk navigation stuff? I don't know. Of course, this is probably, this is done after the fact as well, I'm sure too. Do we have names on this? Oh, right here. Drawn by Franz Joseph Designs. No, just drawn by Franz Joseph Designs. No, nothing on the back here. Offset 36 degrees. You have hold it fairly close. Is it 36 degree offset because of the whatever type of shape this is in here? Right, it is. I think that's it. So that's the difference between that's exactly it, because you're shooting most of the time from that side where you walk in. So most of the time, our iconic shots are being shot inside from this direction. And it actually surprised me a little bit that Uhura was sitting directly behind the captain, because actually I thought, when I think about that, Uhura is not directly behind the captain. Because why would you put the Uhura directly behind the captain? Because from the television show perspective, then you wouldn't see her, except for you very rarely. There is the iconic shot that is from like the front here, from in front of the viewer into the bridge. So that's like straight into the captain's face. So that is an iconic shot right there. But so you have to cheat Uhura one direction in order to get her in that shot. But most of the time, when you're just on set and generally filming, you're not shooting that shot. You're shooting this shot, this direction, which then that works. Then you see the turbo lift doors. And then when you're shooting from this direction, what it allows is for you to see the actors coming in from the turbo lift. So when because that's a thing, when somebody comes onto the bridge, somebody's going to say something important. Somebody's coming on for some reason, or they're leaving to go someplace from this main shot. It makes sense to have the turbo lift right there, so you can see exactly what's going on, either people coming or going onto the main from the turbo lift shaft. And then you don't have the problem that Uhura is sitting, that nobody is sitting right behind the captain because of that. You're not having to worry about cheating somebody off from most of your shots, because there is no person sitting right behind the captain in the captain's chair. You never have to worry about that shot. This direction, you see Spock, Uhura. Sometimes Scotty came over here to deal with engineering, and then the captain and Chekhov and Sulu right here, and you get everybody in that shot when you're coming in from this direction, as well as you can see when McCoy comes onto the bridge like he does rather frequently. It says right next to, wait, what's that? It does. Oh, it does. Okay, so that's right. So offset. Oh, okay, it does. So offset 36 degrees. So that right there. So he's the 36 degree offset. I should look at the plans that are in front of me. So it's a 36 degree offset where they command the Enterprise from, as it turns out. I wonder when they actually realized that. They must have when they were making these plans. But I wonder if they realized that during the construction, like when somebody was looking at the ship's model and then looking at the bridge, like, I wonder when that realization actually dawned on people. Jappert says, this may be a hot take. Gene's vision is flawed and romanticized. I don't mind if his vision stays with the show, but unfortunately it doesn't. Well, it's definitely romanticized. I mean, when you're talking about especially the original series, it's definitely romanticized. Flawed? Well, I mean, everybody's vision has flaws, right? Let's see. My mouse is not working. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. So you can also walk around. So there's some way to actually walk around too. So this is actually a hallway that goes around the bridge so that you can access all of the panels, like and people's control stations from this direction. And it looks like there is a head here as well. So you go out this direction, and then to a bathroom, and then here, so you get around into the corridor here, the service corridor, going around the bridge. Sable says it's weird the bridge would be offset like that. There's no reason the turbo lift wouldn't just be dead center in the rear. In universe, not for filming. Right. In universe, it makes sense. In universe, you'd put it at the rear, I think. It's just, well, or, I mean, somebody was like, probably like, we should have moved that nodule on the model and moved it around our 36 degrees, and then it would have been right. Let's see. I remember. So this is a cool set of the plans of the Enterprise. I would like to do. I mean, it would be fun to do one actually physically in model. It says the heavy cruiser class starship has a permanent staterooms which accommodate 500 persons. This permits it normally to carry 70 supercargo in addition to the standard ship's complement. It would be fun to do it physically as models. I used to build models as a kid. I still love all the physical stuff. And I've got the workshop, and I used to do stuff for board games and models, buildings, and stuff like that. But I just haven't been able to do that. Didn't really able to get that going. Oh, so that's blank. But it would be fun to shoot the outside shots as actual models. Just because I like model building. I remember, like I said, having these spread out all over the living room floor, looking at just about everything. A lot of like turbo lift shafts. I think this gives you a pretty good sense of the size of this, wherever my brush went. So here's the bridge. So I mean, like, how large is it? That's the physics. We got a physics lab right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they're basically 11 decks, like some type of sensor up here, but 11 decks. But a lot of this, they also can plan out with the turbo elevator shaft. You need a lot of space for it to move horizontally, up and down, and then moving horizontally to get someplace. Emergency bridge. Well, here's emergency bridge. So where is auxiliary control? It's been so long, I don't remember. So the emergency bridge is down here. So that's actually also in the saucer. Ship's computer is right beneath that. Fabrication is beneath that. So they have like a machine shop. Food prep. Engineering is back here. So that's engineering. So, okay, so actually that right here, when we were looking at that thing that's beyond the grid, that red area that's beyond that grid, that hexagonal grid that they did with forced perspective. So that's that area right back there. So this is main engineering. So you can see the stairs going up. So that's, see, I was thinking engineering was going to be down here. But engineering is up here. And then it looks like part of that engine part actually sticks out back here. That's interesting to know. Sable says, what's the mechanical and or engineering concern that forced them to rotate the bridge on one side? Yeah, who knows? And in space, it doesn't actually matter, but humans like our bilateral symmetry. And Michael says, the bridge shouldn't be on top. It should be on a middle level. Like it should be, like it could be down here where the emergency bridge is. Like you could command it from the emergency bridge. But like if you've actually got to look out, which you don't, It makes more sense for it to be someplace like where the emergency bridge is. Yeah, it's true, but at least they put sickbay and the auxiliary bridge and the ship's computer smack in the middle of the saucer section where it's most protected. So where is, did I look, where is sickbay? Is that down here? Let's see. Fabrication, ship's computer, emergency bridge. Sable says, well, the whole ship wouldn't be laid out the way it is. Ships in space would look like the Expanse designs with decks perpendicular to the direction of travel and the bridge in the middle. Even if you had artificial gravity, you still have no reason to lay out your ship in planoform. There are people watching. People don't watch on Twitch as much. It's coming in from Twitch. But most people are watching on YouTube. You can apparently stream on Twitch forever and never attract any followers. So it's mainly... so most people watch on YouTube. Let's see. So wait. So where was engineer? As where was the recreation deck down here? We have something called organic fabrication. We got fabrication up here, organic fabrication and inorganic fabrication. Medical engineering 16. Cruise quarters. We got bridge, hangar deck, bridge here. The pool is right here. You never saw the pool in the show. Lounges. So this is all the hangar back here. Lots of space for the hangar. And there's a lot of space, but it's not huge. Where is... We have something else like this. Oh, I thought this was, NCC. That's Naval Construction Number, right? Yeah, Naval Construction Contract Number. NCC. Oh, come on, focus. NCC Naval Construction Contract Number. And so this is 1700. They made it in universe. Although I noticed it does say the chief of design down here is Gene Roddenberry. So here are all of our NCC numbers. Constitution was NCC 1700. Farragut Hood. I always liked the Excalibur, the USS Excalibur, NCC 1705. So that gives all of the Potemkin, Republic, Valiant, however many there were of the Constitution class, and then our NCC numbers. Let's see. See, most of this, so this is some of the saucer section, but you can see how much of it they actually thought about. A lot of this is crew quarters. We got lounges that go around. So there are multiple lounges that go around, but all of this is the crew quarters like we saw on the set. So it makes sense. It's just over and over and over again. Let's see, in the direction. So this is the orientation that it was on the set. So it's just 2 rooms with 1 or 2 beds in here, some tables, and then a door that goes through into another table with some chairs right here. And then there's another door right here that goes into a bathroom. So that is, oh, and it looks like, that actually looks like a Jack and Jill style bathroom between this one and this one. Oh, it is. Crew quarters, Jack and Jill style bathroom. Let's see. It says, Stable says, even in an idealized view, there we go. Even the idealized Star Trek future was still prison to contract law. Yeah, there's a bowling alley too. Yes, there is a bowling alley. Emergency transporter. recreation area, gymnasium. So on this, what does it tell me what deck this is? Okay, this is deck 20, recreation facilities and shuttlecraft maintenance shops. Shuttlecraft maintenance shop back here. Emergency battery room, gymnasium. We saw that used. People playing in the gym in the show. Locker rooms, shower rooms, sun deck, regulation pool, and recreation area here. See if we can find the bowling alley. No, pool right here. Deck 21, food preparation center, and bowling. Oh, here it is. Oh, look, right here. Bowling alley, deck 21. This right here is the basic exotic foods and beverage preparation facility. Regulation bowling alley and seating accommodations. So it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lanes. Refreshment over here. So yes, there's the bowling alley. Bowling alley, deck 21, pool. Actually, is that 2 pools? I don't suppose that's looking down. Is that 2 pools they've got on both deck 21 and deck 20? Or do you? It might be that you look down and see the pool. Pool machinery room. It might be open. Well, so we never exactly found shuttlecraft hangar, crew's quarters. This is down in the main hull. I think that's what we were looking at before. I didn't find sick bay. What's here? This is deck 17, main deck. What do we have in here? This is obviously in the saucer section. Lots more crew quarters. Lots of room spent to house the crew. Ship's computer and emergency bridge. Engineering. Computer engineering over here, and then here's that weird part that goes back. I don't know. There's something about this that just makes you feel real. There we go. Okay, freshwater tanks. You got to do a lot of freshwater storage. I remember that as a kid. There's a lot of freshwater storage going around. So entertainment center, they basically have a garden right here. Where I'm at deck 8, entertainment and recreation facilities. We've got another gym here. This looks like another transporter room. Ship's computer in the center. Emergency transporter, 3 panels. And there's a lot of transport, but I guess in order to move people on and off this ship in a big way, you need more than just the one transporter room. Maybe it's extra J says it's a deep pool. Deck 5. Okay, my computer is all jammed up. Can't even move my mouse. 6-lane bowling alley. That's a prolificate use or waste of space on a ship, especially since Roddenberry wanted to feel a little like a submarine. Well, and I like that feeling of the ships, the more military submarine-like ships, which is why I like, which there is a feel. I mean, yeah, there is definitely a feel to that here on the original series ship, but you know, when you get to something like the entire like garden here that you're growing, and then the bowling alley and stuff like that, you get you get something that feels more like the Next Generation thing. Like this is where you're supposed to live. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. 6-lane bowling. Again. Oh, my computer is all screwed up. Sable says, but they shouldn't have made the ship so big. They had to try and come up with ways to use all that space after the fact. Well, if you feel, I suppose the ship, well, you got your inertial. I suppose the ship being turned 36 degrees wouldn't matter if all viewing is done with screens, but acceleration G-force would be a bit side, which would be a bit weird, assuming that you feel that. So yeah, Sable Phoenix brings that up. Officers deck, deck 5. Okay. Oh, Lynn is actually calling out what deck the officer quarters should be on. Let's see. Deck 9, deck 8, deck 10, cargo and supplies. What is this? Deck 5, officers' quarters. Lynn called it. Here is deck 5, officers' quarters. Let's see. Let's see. So yes, so deck 5, officers' quarters. We do have no. This is an emergency battery room. That's not a transporter room. That's the emergency battery. So yes, this does look. I mean, the other one was close. I bet the other one could be easily redressed. But yeah, this is what was built. This is exactly what was built. So you've got that weird shaped table right there with a chair and another chair. That's where I was sitting, where I filmed part of the part of that shot, part of that video we just saw. Through that door right there, you get to the bedroom with one bed right there, and then the bathroom right here. It does still look like it's Jack and Jill, though, because look over here. It's duplicated, so we've got one bedroom over there and a shared bathroom right there. So it's still Jack and Jill, but that's it. So that does look like it's a deck 5. Very good call, Lynn. Deck 5, officers' quarters. Oh, look. So these are the upper phaser bank room, bridge and computer, emergency battery, air conditioning, main distribution, ventilation duct. That's over here. Lots of water storage, fresh water storage on board here. Science laboratories. But I mean, there's all kinds of laboratories on this. So dedicated high energy laboratory, dedicated geology laboratory, talking about space here. And then you also have to have the crew to crew all of the scientists on board for this. Oh, this is back to the bridge one. So high energy research lab, geology, ion study. I think that's is that social, like sociology or something like that? Laboratory, biology laboratory, chemistry laboratory, physics area. So here's the physics area down here. Dedicated botany, GRU. Here's cosmology area. You've got a bunch of science labs on here. And also special studies over here. This is photon torpedo bank right here. Junior officers' quarters. Oh, that one's blank. Anyway, that's also a trip down memory lane with this. This package. I think they go in like this of plans. I wish I had my mother's original, but since I don't, that makes up for it. That's reminds me of her. Let's see. I have been on a sub. I have been on board the USS Drum, actually. It's down in Mobile next to the USS Alabama battleship. There's the USS Alabama battleship down. It's been a long time. I should go back down there and visit it again sometime. The USS Alabama is in Mobile, but the USS Drum, a submarine. Alabama's the battleship. USS Drum is the submarine that's beside it. If you look closely, the CEO and FO have their own private bathrooms. I was wondering that. I was expecting that. If we actually found captain's quarters or something like that, I would expect the captain to have his own bathroom. James says this was a great stream, Heath. When's the next Star Trek? Tonight is Star Trek 5. So I got a bunch of different topics that I'm trying to do for Table Talk, but Doug and I still have some Star Trek to do. So Doug and I, wait, no. Is today Monday? Today's Monday. Okay, not tonight. Tomorrow night. Monday, tonight, if people want to play Hero Quest, sign up over here. If I'm able to access it with the way my mouse is acting up. So if we can get 4 people interested in at 6 p.m. tonight, we'll play Hero Quest, but then tomorrow night is Table Talk with Doug. Here we go. Virtual gaming sign up or online gaming sign up. We'll play tonight if we can get 4 people. And then tomorrow night we'll do Star Trek 5. All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed this. This was fun. I've been meaning to do it for a while, so this has been a blast. So everybody, I will say, yeah, we're gonna have fun talking about Star Trek 5. It is weird. All right, so everybody, be creative, be constructive, grind on. Oh, the one last thing is that today, if you see that there's a premiere of Star Trek, I divided the thing that we watched the entire thing of into 2 parts to post today and tomorrow on YouTube. So if you're looking for that tour of the bridge or you want to send it to somebody or the Enterprise set, I extracted that so it's outside of the live stream. And then today at 1 o'clock, it'll premiere. The first half will premiere, and then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, it'll premiere. So if you're looking forward, you want to share with somebody or something like that, what Neutral Zone Studios is, that will be on the channel separately outside of the live stream. So you don't have to look for it inside the live stream. So that's why those are premiering. That's what's premiering. So if you were here and you watched this, you've already seen it. That's what's premiering today and tomorrow at 1 o'clock. All right, everybody, be creative, be constructive. I will see you tomorrow.